Right now, Governor Walker has ordered all flags to half staff honoring U.S. Senator John McCain. Overnight, people paying tribute across the country to the life and legacy of an American hero. Plus, road closures are set to pose more challenges for drivers heading into the work week. With even more rain on the way, Chris is tracking our Alert Day forecast. And you have one last shot to catch the Packers practice before the regular season kicks off. Details ahead.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good Sunday morning, and thanks for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is 6:30 on this August 26th. I'm Josh Breiter with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, you're tracking that heavy rain potential, and I think a lot of people are a little nervous. I was out there along Lake Monona yesterday, and a lot of scrambling going on to try and save those homes.
I believe it. In fact, today is one of those days that you want to make sure that you are weather aware. We have an alert day for 3 different reasons. One, heavy rain and flash flooding is on the table. Another one, it's going to be very hot and humid today. Heat indices could approach 100. Another, the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms. But let's start with what's impacting our weather now. That is the fog. You and I were just talking. It's hard to see right
it's
here
nasty out
around
there.
The station. That fog is very nasty at some spots, especially if you live just outside of the city of Madison. So if you're going to be out early, give yourself some extra time. You are going to need it. That fog is pretty dense. Visibility down to about 1/4 of a mile at the airport. In some spots, especially for us around the station, that visibility is down to 0. Here's what it looks like. You actually have a blanket of thick fog that is covering the area right now, and that's going to keep going until we can get the sunrise to go and eventually burn off some of that. Temperature-wise, we are in the 60s at the moment. Most folks are in the 50s and 60s. A few 70s are showing up. Monroe already at 70 degrees. Dew points are in the low 60s here, but upper 60s just to the south. Our dew points are really going to be increasing as we go to the day. We'll see dew points into the upper 70s at times. It's really going to create a tropical atmosphere. Add on temperatures into the upper 80s. You get those heat indices that are going to move into the potential. It's possible that our heat indices make it into the triple digits today, if not the upper 90s. So I do expect the upper 90s to be the case for a lot of us. But like I mentioned, today is an alert day. We are going to be tracking all of the latest on that as we go through the rest of the morning. So of course, keep it here and on social media. Here's a live look at the Beltline right now. Check out that fog on Todd Drive as you get into the distance. So plenty of patches of dense fog. Thankfully, traffic is moving smoothly for a lot of folks right now.
Our one sky cam there almost looked like we were up in the clouds.
Well, that's exactly that is how it looks. So you'd almost think you're on a plane watching that below, but yeah.
Seriously. All right, Chris, crazy. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, this morning, flags will fly at half staff today in honor of Senator John McCain. The 81-year-old passed away last night after battling an aggressive form of brain cancer for more than a year. This morning, he's being remembered as a hero and political maverick. Moa Leahy reports.
To see folks lining the streets.
People waved American flags as the hearse carrying the body of John McCain pulled into a Phoenix funeral home.
Everybody's just joined together and wanting to pay the respects to an incredible man who did great for Arizona and the country.
The senator passed away Saturday at his ranch outside of Sedona, Arizona, surrounded by family. His wife Cindy wrote on Twitter in part, "My heart is broken. I am so lucky to have lived the adventure of loving this incredible man for 38 years. McCain's death comes just one day after his family announced he would no longer seek treatment for brain cancer. Colleagues from both parties are mourning his loss.
As you go through life, you meet very few truly great men. He was one of them.
McCain was diagnosed with brain cancer last year. He continued to work here in the Senate for several months, but in January, his illness forced him to stay in Arizona. The 81-year-old spent most of his life in public service. He followed his father and grandfather into the military, but as a Navy fighter pilot in 1967, McCain crashed and was captured by the North Vietnamese. During 5 years of captivity, the Viet Cong tortured McCain's body, but they never broke his spirit.
I'm sure that I will get well.
McCain later brought that same fighting spirit to politics.
Boy, that's outrageous.
After losing to Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential election, he continued in the Senate. His brain tumor didn't stop his signature brand of straight talk.
We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done.
President Trump, who was long at odds with McCain, tweeted, My deepest sympathies and respect go out to the family of Senator John McCain. Our hearts and prayers are with you. Mo Lulengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson responded to Senator McCain's death, saying, quote, "John was a true American hero. He will be missed." Speaker of the House and Janesville native Paul Ryan also responding, saying, quote, "Our hearts are with John's wife, Cindy, his children, and his grandchildren. The Congress this morning mourn with them." And finally, former Wisconsin Senator Russ Feingold is also responding. Feingold worked closely with Senator McCain during his time in the Senate. Feingold says, quote, "Like so many others, I will greatly miss my friend, Senator John McCain. We will all be poorer without his leadership." New this morning, Madison police are searching for two teenage boys who pulled a gun on a green cab driver. It happened in the 2500 block of Calypso Road around 8:15 last night. Police say the two boys, around 15 and 16 years old, got into the cab and asked to go to Sun Prairie. The driver reportedly asked for payment ahead of time, and one of the boys got out of the car, went into an apartment building, and came back carrying a long gun. Both suspects eventually ran away on foot. Police say the suspect who showed the gun was wearing a blue Nike hoodie. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Right now, police are searching for a suspect after a man was shot and killed Saturday on the city's west side. It happened near the intersection of Raymond Road and Cameron Road. Police have not released the identity of the victim, but say they believe it was a targeted shooting. It is the third homicide in the city of Madison this year. It's a race against the clock as hundreds across the Madison Metro are awaiting more flooding. Overnight, the city of Madison reduced the amount of water released from the Tenney locks, which should stabilize the lakes. However, city engineers warn we're still not out of the woods. With more rain in the forecast, officials are preparing for the worst. Here's an updated look at the city of Madison's flood map if Lake Monona were to reach 850 feet. It's only a foot away from that level right now. Areas in the purple zone should prepare for waters in basement and streets becoming impassable. Well, right now, the city is offering free sand and ready-to-fill sandbags at numerous locations. You can find them at a lot of the city's parks, along with parking lots 931 on East Main and 1233 on McKenna Boulevard. Crews ask that you bring your own shovel to help with loading the sandbags. Monona is offering up sandbags for people living there as well, and you can find all of this information on our website, channel3000.com. Madison Metro Transit is offering free rides this weekend because of the flooding, though officials say the water will also likely bring reduced service, detours, and delays. The free rides could last into next week depending on the condition of downtown streets. And if you're wondering how you can help this morning, here's a list of banks throughout Dane County that have set up flood assistance and disaster recovery accounts. In Madison, you can donate to the Salvation Army of Dane County, Goodwill, and Second Harvest Food Bank. Happening today, dozens of barbers are offering free haircuts to kids going back to school. It's the second straight year the barbers have taken over the Alliant Energy to give out hundreds of free cuts. The efforts are being led by Jeffrey Patterson and his shop JP Hair Design. Last year, they cut hair for 400 students and told the Madison 365 news outlet they're hoping to double that number this afternoon. Parents are asked to get tickets ahead of time at any of the participating barbers. Tomorrow is your last chance to see the Packers practice in person. The team's last public training camp practice will be held Monday afternoon at 12:15. That's actually a half an hour later than the normal 11:45 start time. The Packers are 2-1 after losing to the Raiders in Oakland on Friday night. They finished the preseason in Kansas City against the Chiefs on Thursday night before hosting the Bears to start the regular season on Sunday night, September 9th. 6:39 is your time, and it is an alert day across south central Wisconsin. And although we don't need it, Chris is tracking more rain in the forecast. Here's a live look outside this Sunday morning. You can see that fog and haze Chris was talking about out there. He'll have more on how much rain we can expect and when it will fall straight ahead in his alert day forecast. Plus, we're heading backstage and behind the scenes, listening to the music of the Red Hot Horn Dogs. this month's Morning Notes segment when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns.
Good morning to you on this Sunday. First and foremost, it is very foggy out here. In fact, so foggy that you can actually almost look up and see the sky because the fog is right here on the ground. Now, above that fog is some sunshine that'll come into play later on today. But folks, there is a dense fog advisory for all of the counties shaded in the gray that's going to stay in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. That does include us here in Madison, so do take it easy. If you're going to be out driving, visibility pretty low in some spots. A quarter-mile visibility at the airport, and other spots that visibility is zero. Right here around the station, a lot of those neighborhoods getting zero visibility right now when it comes to the fog. Here's a live look of just how shallow that layer of fog is. A lot of those trees sticking up through it. It's essentially a blanket of fog that we do have over the city of Madison right now. 62 degrees is the temperature. Dew points are in the low 60s, but it is an alert day for multiple reasons. One, we do have the chance for showers and thunderstorms, heavy rainfall at times that could lead to flash flooding in some areas at spots. And the heat and the humidity. Let's go ahead and get you started with how warm it'll be. We'll see those temperatures topping out right around 88 degrees, but then you factor in how humid things will be. Here's the future track heat index as we get you into the afternoon, showing potential heat indices into the triple digits. That is going to certainly be something to watch before we do cool down with some showers and thunderstorms. When it's that warm and that humid, we do have the risk for showers and thunderstorms. We are tracking some of them on radar right now, but they are not that intense intense as of yet, but we'll watch those move into the area later on this afternoon and evening with additional rain chances as we get you through the week. Heavy rain, thunderstorms, hail, flash flooding, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all something that are on the table. So we will keep a very close watch on that as we go through the rest of the day. But for this afternoon, expect it to be very warm, 88 degrees. Storms will be possible. It's the overnight hours that will get the greatest chance for those strong to severe thunderstorms, which is why today is an alert day. On Monday, we'll be humid with a slight chance of thunderstorms leading into Tuesday. Then we'll get a break for Wednesday and Thursday with more shower and thunderstorm chances as we get you towards next weekend.
Busy forecast, Chris. We know you're watching it.
It is a very busy forecast, but of course, you're right. I am watching it.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, former UW marching band members Bill and Tracy Walker couldn't put down their instruments after college, so they formed a cover band, and although they have moved on from the band, their sound continues to rock. Photojournalist Christopher Habaker gives us a taste of the Red Hot Horn Dogs in this month's Morning Notes.
Cover just about everything.
Things you hear on the radio to music you've heard in the 50s and 60s.
We predominantly would do what might be called classic rock. Today we're going to be doing some tributes to Aretha Franklin. And with the horns, it gives us a lot of breadth, a lot of ability to cover some kind of things that a lot of other bands probably couldn't.
The band originated with folks from the UW marching band. So we're about 60% UW marching band alums now, and we feature that occasionally.
I just say it's the energy that we bring to it and the kind of showmanship that we kind of learned from director Mike Leckrone over all the years.
Here we go now.
Two of our UW band drummers. We do two percussionists, with a lot of groups that probably don't do of our style. In fourth grade, they gave me a trombone and said, "Go with it."
Because we know that he just can't sing.
I picked up tuba, and that's what I played through college in the marching band. Laura Kruschke on saxophone, and she's our female vocal, which really gives us a lot of versatility.
It's added a new dynamic to the group. It gives us an additional range of covers we can do that the guys couldn't do without a higher singing voice. They like to joke about that.
Dennis Krause on trombone, today being subbed by Jenna Mood. Our rhythm section, Steve Austin, who has been around the Madison area playing in small rockabilly country combos for decades. Michael Mood, our keyboard player. Our bass player. Mike Steen and Jamie Circum are both music educators at Wanakee, and they kind of help set the tone for the music of the group.
So today we play at the Middleton Good Neighbor Festival.
We've been in the hockey tent on Sunday afternoons for, I think this is our 7th year running, and it's just a thrill. They're fun people to play for, raising money for youth hockey.
See a lot of families, people of all ages. Our music really is truly for everybody.
Next year will be our 20th season out playing, and so it's a little bit easier to look back at what we've done rather than looking at the future, because you don't know what it holds. Keep going, yeah, keep on rocking, I guess.
And thanks to photojournalist Christopher Habaker for throwing that together. You can catch the Red Hot Horn Dogs from 1 to 5 this afternoon in the hockey tent at the Good Neighbors Festival in Middleton. Major musical news out of the UW campus. Beloved University of Wisconsin band director Michael Leckrone is retiring. The 82-year-old says he will be stepping down at the end of this year after 50 years in the position. Leckrone says he made the decision to retire a couple of weeks ago, but didn't want to make a public announcement until he could meet with his students. Just about 10 minutes to 7 right now, the Madison's Children's Museum is preparing to shut down for a couple of hours tomorrow so that kids with autism or other sensory challenges can have some time inside without feeling overwhelmed. And swim lessons and piano lessons are the activities you typically see kids heading to after school. But what about private video game training? The surprising new trend and why some parents are hopping on board on News 3 This Morning, Sunday. And welcome back at 6:53. Music lessons, tennis lessons. Parents pay a lot to give their kids whatever they need. But private video game instruction? Mary Lee explains what's behind the trend.
Don't go. Oh gosh, I got stuck.
Oriaron loves playing Fortnite, but some of his friends are taking it to the next level.
There's Fortnite coaches that guarantee a win or to build on your building skills or aim.
One of his friends even has the support of his parents. They hired a Fortnite tutor for him.
They thought that he's good enough to play in esports or to compete and to join a competitive team and win money. So they decided to build on his strengths, and he really wanted it. He's been pushing for it for a long time.
It's not just Ori's friend. Now parents around the world are hiring Fortnite coaches, paying them as much as $35 an hour to make their kid the next big esports star.
I introduce myself as the Fortnite god. I go and I say I only drop tilted, which is a section of the map in Fortnite.
Julian Torres is an instructor at ID Tech camps here on the Stanford campus. He not only shows students how to win at Fortnite, but he also teaches them how to build a battle-style Royale game and program levels inspired by Fortnite. ID Tech Camps is the only official Fortnite camp, partnering with Fortnite's video game makers, Epic Games.
We show them Fortnite, we play Fortnite with them, and in general, kids have a blast with it because it's such a fun game. But they take that and we say, all right, now you guys can make something like this too.
ID Tech Camps is a summer computer camp for students from ages 7 to 18. The goal is to create a positive experience in technology and to hopefully inspire the next gamers and tech leaders of the future.
The Madison Children's Museum is going to shut down for a couple of hours tomorrow so that kids with autism or other sensory challenges can have some time inside without feeling overwhelmed. It's part of a pilot program in connection with the Wisconsin Early Autism Project. Families can go and have some educational fun inside in an environment that supports their kids' needs. The event is free for families, running from 5 until 7 Monday night. Coming up on 6:56 this morning, there's more ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. The day's top stories are next, including the latest on the flooding and the impact today's rain could have here in Dane County. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, all. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we will look back on 10 years of work by the Wisconsin Center for Investigative Journalism, filling the gaps of an imploding newspaper industry and foretelling the future of American journalism. We will tell stories and name names with WCIJ co-founders, executive editor Andy Hall and managing editor DJ Hall, and be joined by Wisconsin Public Radio special projects reporter Bridget Bowden. That's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC.
Inheritance gone wrong. A local woman finds out she's the heir of an estate, but in order to find out how much it's worth, she has to sign a quarter of it away. We investigate in this morning's Call for Action.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 o'clock on this August 26th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese has your alert day forecast in a moment, but first, right now the country is mourning the loss of an American hero and U.S. Senator. 81-year-old John McCain has died. Overnight, people lined the streets in Phoenix as the hearse carrying McCain's body pulled into a funeral home there. The senator passed away Saturday at his ranch outside Sedona, Arizona, surrounded by family. McCain spent most of his life in public service, serving as a Navy fighter pilot, a U.S. Senator, and the 2008 Republican presidential nominee. McCain died exactly 9 years to the day after Ted Kennedy, who also passed away from brain cancer. This morning, Madison police are searching for the two teenage boys who pulled a gun on a green cab driver. It happened in the 2500 block of Calypso Road around 8:15 last night. Police say the two teenage boys got into the cab and asked to go to Sun Prairie. The driver reportedly asked for the payment ahead of time, and that's when one of the boys got out of the car, went into an apartment building, and came back carrying a long gun. Both suspects eventually ran away on foot. Police say the suspect who showed the gun was wearing a blue Nike hoodie. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Happening overnight, the city of Madison reduced the amount of water released from the Tenney locks, which should help stabilize lake levels. However, city engineers warn we're still not out of the woods yet. With more rain in the forecast, officials are preparing for the worst right now. This is an updated look at the city of Madison's flood map if Lake Minota were to reach 850 feet. It's only about a foot away from that level right now. Areas in the purple zone should prepare for water in basements and streets becoming impassable. The city is offering free sand and ready-to-fill sandbags at numerous locations. You can find them at many of the city's parks, along with parking lots 931 on East Main and 1233 on McKenna Boulevard. Crews ask that you bring your own shovel to help with loading the sandbags you'll take. Monona is offering up sandbags for people living there as well. You can find all of this information on our website, channel3000.com. And it's news many do not want to hear, but we do have that chance for heavy rain again, Chris.
That's right, Josh. Today is an alert day for the potential of heavy rain and flash flooding into the overnight hours. But let's get started with what's going on right now. First and foremost, we do have a lot of fog out there. If you were going to be traveling out early this morning, just give yourself some extra time. Visibility in a lot of spots between 0 and a quarter of a mile. This blanket of fog continues to blanket the city this morning. That'll burn off very quickly as we go through the next couple of hours. 63 degrees the temperature right now with dew points in the low 60s as well. 67 in Monroe, 66 in Janesville. Mineral Point already at 70, 50s as you work your way to the north. We actually do have a warm front coming into town. That is going to be increasing dew points as we go through the day. In fact, dew points could very well reach the upper 70s to near 80 at times. It is rare that we get dew points that high. That is air that is absolutely tropical and inundated with moisture. You factor in the point that we are expecting highs into the upper 80s to near 90, and that's why those heat indices could reach the triple digits today. We're going to keep a very close eye on that, but that is a recipe for some showers and thunderstorms, especially with the piece of energy moving in our way. That's the reason for the alert day. Not only is heavy rain possible, but also that potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. So that is all that we are tracking. It's still foggy out there on the Beltline. Traffic is moving though. So far, no major issues or delays have been reported this morning, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Time right now is 7:03 this morning. We've probably all dreamed about inheriting a windfall, maybe from that rich great uncle you never knew. But what if you opened up your mail tomorrow to find out you're the heir of an estate of an undisclosed amount of money, but in order to get it, you have to sign 25% of it away. That's what one local woman says actually happened to her, and now she's getting sued. Our Leah Linscheid has this morning's Call for Action.
This is a story about a man most of us never got to know.
No.
I never met him.
Not even his own family.
He's my mom's cousin.
This is Vicki Feger. She's a distant cousin of Thomas Berry, a man who spent his life as a state capitol locksmith. By all accounts, a fair and honest man, living on modest means.
It talks about in his obituary how he followed the rules so clearly that one time it says Tom followed the stringent key card process so strictly that he once would not issue a key to a state VIP because they did not follow proper protocol.
When Berry died unexpectedly last spring, there was no one to call. No brothers or sisters, no wife or kids.
I'm gonna cry because that's what makes me so sad about it.
And that's where the story of this honest, frugal man takes a strange turn. When Vicki received a letter stating she was eligible, as a distant cousin, to inherit part of his estate.
And we all got FedEx packages in the mail.
A company called Skoll and Remica was offering to prove Vicki and her siblings were heirs to Mr. Berry's estate for a fee of 25%.
And that says the amounts we recover are often small, sometimes only a few $1,000s. I mean, what she doesn't say could also be millions of dollars, you know what I mean?
Vicki ultimately signed the contract. Then shortly afterward, she was contacted by the guardian ad litem assigned to the estate, who informed her that frugal Mr. Berry had amassed a fortune worth $3.4 million.
Oh my God, it's worth a lot more money than I thought, and I just gave away 25% of it.
That is when Vicki started asking more questions.
And then I started doing more Google searching and researching, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. Like, this isn't right. It's such an obscure industry that nobody sort of knows what to do with this.
It was hard for us to find anyone who knew much about air finding. The state has a law about air finders, but it only applies to unclaimed property or property that's already gone to probate court.
Most often it arises as ethical problems.
We ended up in Pennsylvania talking to forensic genealogist Michael Ramage. He outlined some of the same concerns Vicki had with the practice, starting with the fact that air finders often don't disclose much information about the estate they're pursuing.
Because they don't want them to find out on their own what estate it is, so that they don't have to sign the contingent fee agreement.
A statement from Skoll and Remica says the company talked to Vicki in an open and fair manner, sharing all the information they had at the time they contacted her, including the name of the estate. The company says it had no information about the value and didn't learn it was a large estate until almost 7 months later. There are other concerns with the industry. Ramage says these companies hire runners who keep tabs on estate court so they can get to heirs weeks before the court has an opportunity to contact them, often at a cheaper price. In the case of Mr. Berry's estate, the guardian ad litem in the case had petitioned the courts for $5 grand to pay an air finding company. Compare that to the $700,000 Skoll and Remica might have made on 25% of Berry's $3.4 million estate. So what if you get one of these letters? Michael Ramage has one major piece of advice. Contact an attorney.
Those lawyers should be able to tell them whether or not the arrangement with an air finder is legal or is asking for too much money or too large a share of the estate, or whether or not it might be easy just to find the relative by perhaps contacting a forensic genealogist.
Okay. This is their 25-page injunction against me and restraining order.
Vicki did more than that. She filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau and DACCAP. She now says Skoll and Remica is suing her for defamation.
That's the cease and desist. I mean, he was this honest man.
Vicki says she's being honest about her situation. Maybe a nod to the legacy of her distant cousin.
I'm just going to advocate for people, and I want people to be informed. I don't want people to have FedEx packages show up on their doorstep and go, oh my God, I have to sign with these people. You don't.
Skoll and Remica also commented on its lawsuit against Vicki Feger, saying it drafted a cease and desist letter long before she filed a complaint with the BBB and DACCAP, after the company says she was making false statements to its other clients. Skoll and Remica also had this to say in its statement: "We have been in business for 70 years with thousands of satisfied clients and no prior complaints. You asked us to speak for our industry as a whole, but we can only tell you about our practices as honest and ethical." The company also points to its A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. With tonight's Call for Action report, I'm Leah Lynchide.
If you have a call for action for our volunteers, you can call them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 until 1 at the number on your screen, or you can also call for action anytime at channel3000.com. 9 minutes past the hour right now. More mothers are breastfeeding their babies, but the CDC says that's not all good news. A new simple eye scan could help identify early signs of Alzheimer's. And after finding kids are not spending enough time outside, some doctors are now writing prescriptions for playtime. The morning's top health headlines are next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning. On this alert day, we are starting the day with dense fog advisories. Those dense fog advisories will last until 9 o'clock this morning for all of those counties shaded in the gray. Here in Madison, we have a pretty nice layer of some of that fog showing up right now, although it is starting to burn off already. We'll continue to see that burn off more as we go through the rest of the morning. The temperature at 63 degrees right now. Dew points also in the low 60s, but today an alert day for multiple reasons. 1, heat and humidity. 2, the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms. And 3, the potential for aggravated flooding issues with the heavy rain potential. Let's go ahead and start with temperatures. We'll see those highs top out right around 88 degrees today, but dew points are going to soar into the upper 70s. Given that, it is possible to see those heat indices into the upper 90s or even breaking 100 degrees for some of us. So drink plenty of water as you do have to be out this afternoon. We'll eventually cool down with the chance of showers and thunderstorms moving in later on tonight. The Storm Prediction Center has the area under a slight risk. That's level 2 out of 5 for strong to severe thunderstorms. There's some thunderstorms up across the Northwoods and just north of the Twin Cities as of now. We'll keep a close eye on that, but as we go through the rest of the afternoon, we'll see more showers and thunderstorms beginning to develop, and they'll come in rounds. The first rounds, those showers will be more so isolated. They'll pose the potential for some hail along with the spin-up tornado or two As we get into the overnight hours, that's where we'll watch a complex of showers and thunderstorms moving in from the west. That is where the heavy rain potential will be possible. So all severe weather modes are on the table, from thunderstorms, from heavy rain, potential damaging winds, hail, and even an isolated tornado as we go into the evening. But the biggest threat is going to be heavy rain. The good news is most of that heavy rain does appear to be north of us tonight, but as we go through the rest of the week, we could see more rain. And even though most of that rain should be north of us, we're still looking at the potential for half an inch to an inch or inch and a half of rain that we don't need on our lakes and rivers around here. This afternoon, 88 degrees. Of course, feeling like 93 to 98, though that could be warmer depending on how those dew points go. Today, an alert day, a round of rain Monday night into Tuesday as well, before calming down for the middle of the week, Josh.
Well, Chris, I don't like to hope that you're wrong, but in this case, I hope that rain goes away.
Me too. So I can't blame you on that one. I'm hoping that rain stays far to our north if it is.
All right, we know you'll be tracking it. Thanks, Chris.
My pleasure.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us. Denise Simey shared this picture with us. You can see the little watershed there. Hopefully, again, we don't get that rain so it doesn't fill up even more. This is of Stoughton. Thanks for sharing, Denise. So what does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page, or you can also find us on Instagram or Twitter and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning, and we share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. 15 minutes past the hour, a new CDC reports find more mothers are breastfeeding, but not long enough. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends infants be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of their lives. According to the data from 2015, while most babies start out breastfeeding, only 58% of them are at 6 months and just 36% by the time they turn 1. A new report from the American Academy of Pediatrics finds young children are not getting enough playtime. It urges doctors to write prescriptions for play at yearly well visits. Researchers say media distractions such as video games and tablet apps can increase the likelihood of sedentary lifestyles and obesity. A simple eye exam could help screen patients for Alzheimer's disease. That's according to new research from Washington University School of Medicine. By measuring the thickness of the retina and the fibers in the optic nerve, the study found doctors were able to determine if a patient would likely develop Alzheimer's. The new screening tool would cost less than a PET scan. Well, it's not good for your physical health, but if you're a fall lover, this next story will boost your mental health. Starbucks says its ever-popular pumpkin spice latte will be available starting this Tuesday. This is the 15th year Starbucks will serve the drink. If you've ever wanted to know who to thank for the latte, that man is named Peter Dukes. He first crafted it in Starbucks' liquid lab in 2003 by pouring espresso shots over real pumpkin pies. Originally, the drink was called the Fall Harvest Latte, but that doesn't have quite the same ring as the name Starbucks eventually settled on. The bad news, if you can call it that, a 16-ounce pumpkin spice latte has 380 calories and 50 grams of sugar. Almost 7:18 right now. The kids are back in school, the days are getting shorter, and summer is quickly coming to an end. But before it does, we have some cocktails, perfect for one final end of summer party. We're shaking things up with a local bartender when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Lots of fog out there this morning. Do keep that in mind if you're going to be heading out. Temperatures this morning will rise from 65 to about 80, becoming partly sunny into the afternoon. Then we're going to watch temperatures soar to the upper 80s, heat indices approaching 100 at times. It is possible for some strong to severe thunderstorms into the overnight hours, bringing every severe weather risk on the table. Isolated tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds, along with heavy rain and potential flooding. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:21 is your time. Middleton's Good Neighbor Festival continues today, celebrating the area's nonprofits in a time when it's clear how important they can be. The festival includes rides, food, and a craft market. Proceeds from the event go towards causing ranging from Boy Scouts to the Lions Club. With historic flooding affecting parts of the city just days ago, organizers say coming together can be part of the healing process.
Generally, the vibe is really good. Everyone's out here celebrating like normal, but I think we have an extra layer of community this year as opposed to some of the others. So it's time for people to put down the shop vac and come out here and kind of commiserate with their neighbors.
It is the final day of the fest, running from 9 this morning until 5. We have some good news and bad news this morning. The days are getting shorter and summer is coming to an end, but the Labor Day holiday is right around the corner, the perfect time for one final hurrah. This morning we are joined by Benjamin Roberts, owner of Pasquale's Restaurants in Madison, who's shaking up some drinks perfect for your end of summer celebration. Seems like the summer always goes by like that.
It certainly does. Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks for coming in. So I know a lot of people like to drink during the summertime because we get kind of thirsty.
Yep.
And you're going to make something for us this morning.
I'm going to make a summer mule. Which is a riff on a Moscow Mule. Moscow Mule is traditionally made with vodka, mint, lime, ginger beer. This is going to be using Patron tequila, so you can sort of mix it up a little bit. We're going to do fresh strawberries, fresh mint. So we're just going to take some mint leaves, put them into the shaker, 3 strawberries, and some simple syrup, which you can also use agave nectar. You can buy simple syrup pre-made, or you can make it yourself. And you're going to muddle it up.
So what makes a summer drink special? What's it kind of different from other seasons of the year?
Lots of fresh fruit, fresh produce, fresh herbs. I really love using the strawberries and the combination of the ginger beer and the mint with the fresh strawberries is just fantastic. So having just access to fresh produce is fantastic. So we're going to take some fresh lime juice and then Patron Silver, which is super versatile for cocktails, even that aren't traditionally used with tequila. You can do an old fashioned, you can do a Manhattan, you can do a Hemingway daiquiri. So we're gonna put that in there, and we're gonna do every bartender's favorite move. Shake it up with some ice.
This is how you guys get your workout in, right?
That's right. Look at this. Just a little bit. You don't want to bruise it too much. Meld the flavors together, and we'll strain it into a glass.
And it even looks good.
Yeah, beautiful. And we'll top it off with ginger beer. A little fresh mint, mint leaf, and then a strawberry. Just like that.
Look at
there you have
that.
it. I think you should drink
Oh
that.
boy, we're gonna give it a shot here. Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. So obviously you guys are busy in the summer months. A lot of people want to come out and hang out on the patio. Where can they find you?
Yep. We've got a location at Hilldale Mall, East Washington Avenue, and then in Verona as well.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll get all of this up on our website, channel3000.com. But we thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much.
And obviously a very easy recipe and very tasty. I'm going to take a little bit more
Very easy, and
here.
you can make all your friends jealous.
That's the goal, right?
Yes, right. Exactly.
All right. Well, still ahead this morning, the latest on the flood recovery efforts and how the city is stepping in to help. And we're honoring the life and legacy of Senator John McCain this morning, paying tribute to the Maverick in his own words. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday, just before 7:30 on this August 26th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese has your alert day forecast with more rain on the way. But first, happening overnight, the city of Madison reduced the amount of water released from the Tenney locks, which should help stabilize the lakes. However, city engineers warn we're still not out of the woods. With more rain in the forecast, officials are preparing for the worst. Here's an updated look at the city of Madison's flood map if Lake Monona were to reach 850 feet. It's only about a foot away from that level right now. Areas in the purple zone should prepare for water in basements and streets becoming impassable. Right now, the city is offering free sand and ready-to-fill sandbags at numerous locations. You can find them in many of the city's parks, along with parking lots 931 on East Main and 1233 on McKenna Boulevard. Crews ask that you bring your own shovel to help with loading the sandbags you take. You can find all of this information on our website, channel3000.com. Tomorrow is your last chance to see the Packers practice in person. The team's last public training camp practice will be held Monday afternoon at 12:15. That's actually a half hour later than the normal 11:45 start time. The Packers are 2-1 after losing to the Raiders at Oakland on Friday night. They finished the preseason in Kansas City against the Chiefs on Thursday night before hosting the Bears to start the regular season on Sunday night, September 9th. Good news for fall lovers. Starbucks says its ever-popular pumpkin spice latte will be available starting this coming Tuesday already. This is the 15th year Starbucks will serve the drink. Originally, the drink was called the Fall Harvest Latte, but that doesn't have quite the same ring to it as the name Starbucks eventually settled on. The bad news is a 16-ounce pumpkin spice latte has 380 calories and 50 grams of sugar. Chris, kind of gets me in the mood for fall, but not really feeling fall-like out there at all.
Absolutely. It's going to feel very summer-like today. In fact, we do have an alert day for today. Not only is it the risk of strong to severe thunderstorms and heavy rain, but we're also following the potential for some extreme heat. First off, it's going to feel very soupy. We're going to watch those dew points rise into the upper 70s today. That is rare that happens, but today it's very possible, if not likely. You combine that with high temperatures that will likely reach the upper 80s to near 90, and it's possible that we could see these heat indices exceed 100 degrees at times. For the most part, most heat indices should stay into the upper 90s, but it's possible to feel like 100 degrees, so drink plenty of water as you're going to be out and about. The next risk is that chance for showers and thunderstorms. Those will get going as we get you into the evening hours, more so late afternoon, early evening. Scattered storms and locally heavy rain, that'll be possible as we go all the way through your Monday morning. But at the onset of these showers and thunderstorms, we'll have to watch for the potential for damaging winds, hail, and an isolated spin-up tornado as well. So all severe modes are on the table as we head with our next storm chance later on this afternoon. Right now, we are tracking the fog out there. Dense fog advisories for the counties and the gray. That's going to go until 9 o'clock. Temperature-wise, as you do head out the door now, expect temperatures to hang out into the lower 60s, eventually mid-60s taking over. We'll see 80 degrees by the time we get you towards lunchtime today. If you're concerned about any traffic for your Sunday morning with the fog out there, well, the fog is lifting. So far, most traffic is moving smoothly, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
7:32 is your time right now. Flags will fly at half-staff today in honor of Senator John McCain. The 81-year-old passed away last night after battling an aggressive form of brain cancer for more than a year. This morning, he's being remembered as a hero and political maverick. Mary Correz has his story.
I've been an imperfect servant of my country for many years, but I've been her servant first, last, and always.
John Sidney McCain III was a military hero who became a maverick politician. He joined the family business, becoming a Navy pilot. In 1967, on a bombing run over Hanoi, he was shot down and badly injured, then bayoneted after splashing down in a lake.
When they found out that my father was an admiral, they took me to a hospital.
While holding him as a prisoner of war, the North Vietnamese tried to exploit his family connections. They offered him an early release, but he refused to violate the military code of first in, first out. He was finally freed after 5.5 years of beatings and torture.
I do not recommend the treatment, but I know that I'm a better person for it.
In 1982, he was elected to the U.S. House from Arizona, and 4 years later to the Senate. He earned a reputation for straight talk.
If the special interests continue to play a greater and greater role in the formulation of legislation, then we will see a breakdown of democracy as we know it. And I'm not exaggerating.
In 2008, he clinched the Republican nomination, choosing another maverick as a running mate.
Governor Sarah Palin of the great state of Alaska.
Palin energized conservatives, but in the midst of a financial crisis, the country was ready for a change. Democrat Barack Obama beat McCain with a 2-to-1 electoral landslide. He returned to the Senate, became chair of the Armed Services Committee, drew fire from Donald Trump.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
And returned it.
That in many respects, this administration is in disarray.
But in the summer of 2017, the normally sharp McCain grew fatigued and had a few verbal stumbles.
In the case of Mr. Comey, the President Comey, excuse me, case of President Trump.
Tests revealed glioblastoma, an aggressive form of brain cancer.
This disease has never had a more worthy opponent.
Still, the former fighter pilot returned to the Senate to cast a decisive vote against a slapdash effort to repeal parts of Obamacare. And after 3.5 decades in Congress, he left his colleagues with an entreaty to work together.
We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done. And the times when I was involved, even in a modest way, with working on a bipartisan response to a national problem or threat, are the proudest moments of my career and by far the most satisfying.
A message only a maverick could deliver. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Washington.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson responded to Senator McCain's death this weekend, saying, quote, "John was a true American hero. He will be missed." Speaker of the House and Janesville native Paul Ryan also responding, saying, quote, "Our hearts are with John's wife Cindy, his children, and his grandchildren. This Congress, this country mourn with them." And former Wisconsin Senator Russ Feingold is also responding this morning. Feingold worked closely with Senator McCain during his time in the Senate. Feingold says, quote, "Like so many others, I will greatly miss my friend, Senator John McCain. We will be poorer without his leadership." New this morning, Madison police are searching for 2 teenage boys who pulled a gun on a green cab driver. It happened in the 2500 block of Calypso Road around 8:15 last night. Police say the 2 boys, around 15 and 16 years old, got into the cab and asked to go to Sun Prairie. The driver reportedly asked for payment ahead of time. That's when one of the boys got out of the car, went into an apartment, and came back carrying a long gun. Both suspects eventually ran away on foot. Police say the suspect who showed the gun was wearing a blue Nike hoodie. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Happening today, dozens of barbers are offering free haircuts to kids heading back to school. It's the second straight year the barbers have taken over the Alliant Energy Center to give out hundreds of free cuts. The efforts are being led by Jeffrey Patterson and his shop JP Hair Design. Last year, they cut hair for 400 students and told the Madison 365 news outlet they are hoping to double that number this afternoon. Parents are asked to get tickets ahead of time at any of the participating barbers. Tomorrow is your last chance to see the Packers practice in person. The team's last public training camp practice will be held Monday afternoon at 12:15. That's actually a half hour later than the normal 11:45 start time. The Packers are 2-1 after losing to the Raiders in Oakland on Friday night. They finished the preseason in Kansas City against the Chiefs on Thursday night before hosting the Bears to start the regular season on Sunday night, September 9th. 7:38 is your time. Are you in a pickle of what to pack in your kids' school lunch? Look no further. Pickles are the hot trend right now. We're joined next by Kimberly of Badger Girls Learn to Cook with easy ways your kid can bring them to school and some innovative new foods infused with pickle flavoring. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning. Today is an alert day for heat, severe thunderstorms, and heavy rainfall. That is possible. First and foremost, it's going to be very warm and humid today. We could see those heat indices top out into the triple digits at times for some folks. So drink plenty of water. Those storms will get going into the early evening hours. At the onset, we'll have the risk for damaging winds, hail, and isolated tornadoes. Otherwise, it is going to be the heavy rain potential that we really keep a close eye on. The latest trends are for that to remain to our north, but we have to watch it closely. A 50-mile shift to the south would not be good for us at all. But nonetheless, we will be tracking all the latest in your First Alert weather. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:42 is your time. Pickles are hot right now, and the Daily Beast just listed pickles as the flavor of the moment. And here to talk about this new trend this morning and some of the different pickle-flavored items available that are perfect to put in your kids' lunch is Kimberly Amy with Badger Girls Learn to Cook. Kimberly, thanks for coming back to the program.
Of course, I'm glad to be back. And yes, pickles are very hot right now. And I think we think of pickles and we think of condiments or what we're going to throw in our Bloody Mary, not for our kiddos, of course, but with our burgers, with our brats. But there's so many other things you can do with pickles. And what's really hot right now are pickles on pizza. And so we're going to whip together this fried pickle pizza. And I love using the McClure's pickles for this. It's a family-owned business and family processed, and it's all whole food ingredients. So it's great for your kiddos. It's great for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So I started with a pre-made crust, and I love using the Gino's crust from their Italian deli. I baked it for about 3 minutes. I already added on some olive oil, garlic, and Italian seasoning. Now I'm just going to throw on some Parmesan cheese. Just a few tablespoons just to make it crunchy.
It already smells delicious.
Yes, it's all that yummy garlic. Now we're gonna put on just a little bit of mozzarella cheese. Now I'm really not doing a lot. This is not an ooey gooey pizza, but definitely a crunchy pizza to kind of act like that appetizer, the fried pickles. Now, of course, our pickles. And pickles, it's funny, like we don't think of pickles on pizza, but if we think of the flavors for pickles, they're sour, they're crunchy. It's a lot like a lot of the things we already put on pickles. I'm just gonna throw some on there. And then I would go ahead and bake this for 8 to 12 minutes at 400. And when I'm done, I would get something like this. This is definitely something you could throw in a lunch. It also makes a super good appetizer and super easy and fun. I mean, how many times can you say you had pickle pizza?
I've
right?
never had pickle pizza.
I know, well, it's delicious. And I like to serve it with the ranch to kind of mimic that appetizer like I talked about. And other things you can do with the pickles, you can add the pickle juice to some mayo if you're gonna make some sandwiches for your kids. You can also just throw them in there, like wrap them up with some ham. That's a classic ham and pickle appetizer. It's also good for school lunches.
All right, well, we've got a few seconds left, so obviously very good. We'll get this up on channel3000.com, but if people are interested in reaching out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
You can check out my blog at learntocookbadgergirl.com. And this recipe is up on the blog right now. And for more information on the pickles, you can check out mcclures.com. And they have the whole story about their family business there.
All right. Well, Kimberly, thanks so much. It smells delicious. Can't wait to try it.
Thanks. Thanks
for having me. Have a great day.
Me.
Yes, you bet. Let's take a live look outside right now. We've got some more rain on the way for our Sunday. You can see kind of a humid start out there, and obviously that rain, not something we need with all of this flooding going on. Chris is back with how much we can expect when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. But first, happy birthday to Lily and all of the other kiddos turning 3 years old today. We'll be right back.
Good morning. We still do have some dense fog advisories in the area. Those are going to last until 9 o'clock. All these counties shaded into gray that goes from Milwaukee here through Madison up through the Dells towards Wautoma will have that dense fog advisory. So be on the lookout for that. But we have seen the fog begin to lighten up and lift as we've gone through the past half hour or so. That'll be the continuing trend as we go through the morning. The airport has a temperature of 64 degrees right now and mostly cloudy with the fog lifting. Dew points are increasing with every temperature rise as well. The air absolutely saturated, and with the storm system moving our way, today is once again an alert day for the risk of strong to severe thunderstorms along with heavy rains and the potential for flash flooding as we head into those overnight hours. Let's go ahead and start with temperatures. We'll see those highs top out right around 88 degrees today. Now, dew points are very likely to reach the upper 70s. Given upper 80s and upper 70s dew points, it's possible for some areas to feel like 100 degrees or so in terms of the heat index later on. Eventually, we will cool things down with some scattered showers and thunderstorms getting started. Here's the risk for where those showers and thunderstorms could be severe. All of these areas in the green and the yellow, that is a slight risk or a level 2 out of 5 risk for some strong to severe thunderstorms. There's a complex of showers across the North Woods right now. Those are not severe at the moment, but as we go through the rest of the day, we'll watch multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms that get fired up. You could have one right around 4:30. That should stay to the north of us, but we could see some isolated showers down south as well. Another round coming through around 8:30, and then the round with the truest potential for some heavy rain may move in later on into the overnight hours. So it's not coming all at once, but several rounds, and of course the onset could have that potential for damaging winds, hail, and an isolated spin-up tornado. But the heavy rain and the storms, those will last as we get you into your Monday with another round Tuesday and into Wednesday. The heaviest rain should stay to our north, not only on this system, but even with the next system as well. The thing is, we're still getting an inch or so of rain that we really don't need. And we want to watch this closely because if this moved 50 miles to the south, this would be disastrous for us. That is what we don't need. So we want to make sure that that rain stays north of here. This afternoon, 88 degrees. Yes, storms are possible. Feeling like 93 to 98, though some folks could likely feel like temperatures make it to 100 degrees or so. A slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms again on Monday, which Monday likely to be another very warm and hot day as well. Temperatures then come down a little bit with another rain chance as we get you towards next weekend that has the potential to be a heavy rainmaker. So we are busy tracking all of the latest rain chances. JoJo seems sweet about it.
I feel like her eyes are big, though, learning that there's more rain on the way.
I know. I think all of our eyes are big, and so if you're going to be out walking a dog later on, just know there's a chance for some showers and thunderstorms popping up at that time.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Be sure to stick with News 3 and Channel 3000 today. Tonight at 5:30 and 10, we'll have multiple crews downtown surveying the damage from rising water and what to expect on the roads heading into your work week. But first, we love our bikes here in Madison, and soon a new accessory will hit the market that could change how and where we ride. The story behind the new towable RV made especially for your bicycle. Next on News 3 This Morning Sunday. And welcome back at 7:55 this Sunday morning. There's a new Midwestern-made RV hitting the market soon. It's a towable, which means it can be pulled behind a vehicle.
But what makes this one unique is that it's small enough to be pulled by a bicycle. Ed Ernstez has the story.
It's been 2 years in the making, but an Elkhart company is gearing up production on an RV that's small enough it can be pulled by a bicycle. Bikestream RV says the bike towable RV is large enough to hold one person plus some gear.
Just like a traditional hard-sided RV is a step up from a pop-up camper, let's say, these are a step up from a pup tent. And about the same amount of space on the inside, but you are up off the ground.
It weighs in at about 70 pounds.
It has all of the things that you'd find in a traditional RV. It's got a water supply, it's got a sink, it's got a bed, it's got storage cabinets to keep your gear in, a skylight, ventilation, no air conditioning, no washer and dryer, no toilet.
He says they're not for everyone, but adds that if you like to ride a bike, like the great outdoors, and to commune with nature, this could be something you might want to think about. The only trade-off with it, you won't be able to bring as much stuff with you.
You have to limit what you put inside it. And so I like to think of it as minimalist camping. You don't want to take anything that you don't need, and you want to take everything that you will need.
He says the line of units will officially be introduced later this month.
We're very proud that we're going to take part in the Elkhart Open House this year. We're going to start introducing this to the public and to the dealers starting here on the 24th of August.
Schultz feels it's an idea that will definitely catch on.
He hasn't yet set the cost yet, but they're still factoring all of that together. Hey, I think it beats a tent.
It does beat a tent, something to think about, as he said, so we'll keep that in mind. Today, folks, is an alert day for multiple recent showers and thunderstorms, potential for flash flooding and heavy rain, along with the heat and the humidity. We could see those heat indices making it all the way into the triple digits this afternoon. Drink plenty of water. Once storms get firing, we'll have the potential for isolated tornadoes, along with hail and damaging winds at the onset. The heavy rain will be possible going through the duration of the event. Here's the rainfall we could see through tonight and again through Tuesday. While the heaviest looks to stay to our north, we're going to watch the movement very closely.
All right, and a good time to download our app for our accurate forecast. Thanks so much for joining us. As we leave you this morning, there's Barrett the polar bear. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.